So Micah Parsons is there for not really real practice. And part of this reality, and when you're not there, you don't really get to, be around the coaches. And when you have a new defensive coordinator who is the quintessential old school, my way or the highway defensive coach in Mike Zimmer, who has already said, at the end of the day, we're going to do it the way I want it to be done. He said that very recently. Here's Micah Parsons, who might not exactly agree with Mike Zimmer, talking about his relationship or lack thereof with the Cowboys' new defensive coordinator.
Honestly, man, me and Zim probably said a total of 20 words to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very quiet person, and all I keep hearing from the coaches is like, Zim likes it this way. I was like, well, I like it this way, so I can't wait to have my true sit down with him. I think it'll be pretty cool because obviously old school mindset, old school mentality. But I think he has a lot of great players, but he ain't never had a Micah before, so it'll be fun, and I think it's gonna be unique.
I love it.
He also said that they need to compromise. The first thing is, you may not come to a compromise on whether or not you even need to compromise. With Mike Zimmer, there is no compromise. With Mike Zimmer, it is my way.
I know.
It is my way.
I know.
And I know too. I've got the text messages to prove it. And the mere fact that they haven't spoken 20 words to each other. I mean, think about it. Mike Zimmer has fallen into a job where he's got the ultimate chess piece. He's got this generation's Lawrence Taylor. And he hasn't sought him out and kissed his ass and fawned all over him. No, Zimmer's going to do it his way. Zimmer's the coach. Coaches coach, players play, players don't coach, and Zimmer don't play. No. And that's how it's going to go for the Dallas Cowboys. And Micah better get ready because it's going to be good. From our perspective, it's going to be good. From Micah's, it might not be too good, but he's in for an awakening. And it's funny. It's like, man, he's a little naive here. He doesn't realize what's coming for him, and it's going to be Zimmer's foot for his ass. Not literally. 50 years ago, yes, and I still have the scar on my butt to prove it. But Zimmer's old school, and it's time for Micah to realize that that's the way it's going to be.
Hey, we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to buy all that. I don't. Last time I heard about it, it's his way or my way or the highway. There was these two coaches in the New York Giants. They were called Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. And, man, you can't mess with them. They don't listen to anybody. Wait. Whoa, you can come off the edge that fast, Lawrence Taylor? Whoa, you can make that many plays? Sure, do whatever you want. No problem. Hey,
jump in handcuffs.
Hey, Bill Simms, screw you. Get over there in the meeting, you dumbass. Lawrence, wait, whatever you want. Yeah, we'll start the meeting in a few minutes. I mean, listen, it'll be different. We know that. And Zimmer is, we know, tough and all of that. But there will be a little compromise with, I think, this type of player. And I don't think it's anything drastic they're talking about. It could be things like as simple as, Zimmer wants you to line up right here on third down. And Micah might be like, I just want to line up a little wider than that. And those are things they'll hash out. But I don't think Zimmer is going to be too hard on that guy because like Micah said, he ain't had a Micah. Micah is, as you mentioned, it's Lawrence Taylor-ish. It's the closest thing I've ever seen to this point. But it'll be fun to kind of see the dynamics and if we hear a few stories about that as we go forward.
And I'm just having fun with this. I think that Zimmer will recognize that he needs to bend a little bit, even if he does it in a way that doesn't acknowledge to the world that he's bending. He told me years ago at the scouting combine, I mentioned this not that long ago, about just the idea and the approach to coaching. His dad was a high school coach every year. The offense was different, and the defense was different. Why? Because you put your systems in place based upon who you had. So you have this guy who is dominant. You have this guy who is special. You have this guy who is unique. You're going to use him in a way that gets the most out of him. And part of it is being sensitive to the things the players like to do. And unless you have a pretty good argument to make, hey, Micah, I know you like to do it this way, but if you do it this way, you're going to be even better. And he does it, and it works. That's
when you get a bond. That's when you get the Bill Parcells, Lawrence Taylor. We're buddies, right? And like Lawrence, at the end of his career, I think would have done anything for Bill Parcells because of that right there. You're right. That's where, hey, let me just give you these 2 cents, and then you do it, and it works, and then all of a sudden it's like, damn, that's pretty good. And then having the magic touch about yelling at him too, right? I know Parcells, when you watch old Giant clips or anything like that, if Lawrence did something wrong, LT, I call him Lawrence because that's how I would hear my dad always talk about him. My dad doesn't call him LT, right? He calls him Lawrence. Lawrence, if he did something wrong, right? Like if you watch old clips, Parcells will just yell in a different direction, but make sure Taylor hears him, right? Like some of you aren't setting the edge in the run game as like Lawrence is walking over there, right? And that would get the point across, the right way, but you're not confronting or showing up Lawrence Taylor or doing any of that. But at the same time, yeah, that's where a special bond can be made. And I could see Zimmer having that kind of touch, with Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons, I do think, has a lot more old school in him. As we know, he's out of the young players we know in the league, right? I would say he's got a better feel for history of the game than most, for sure. I hear him talk a lot, and he really understands the past and some of these great players that have come through the league before him.
Great appreciation of business,
right?
Great appreciation of history. He just gets it.
Yes,
and that's all the more reason to find a way to work with Michael Parsons and meet him halfway, because if you do that, if you bend a little, he's going to give you a lot. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.